Welcome to Thursday's solo episode. I didn't know if I was going to record this, but I feel okay because I've been distracted with getting work done. I had to shoot content this morning and I was like, of course, my face is puffy from crying. It's just not the best. But anyways, I made it through and I brightened up the images and we should be okay. Things I'm going to talk about today, Vanderpump, obviously. My birthday, which was yesterday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Sugar bugs and what those are and how they have changed the course of the drama that is trying to get Milo to brush his teeth. We booked a trip, our second family trip, and I kind of want to talk about that because I'm super excited about it. And then I will fill you in on what's going on with Muffin and our plans and like just what we've been going through. So first off, Vanderpump. I was shocked. I put the poll up on Instagram to see which of my followers, like how many people, because when I talk about Vanderpump, I just assume that everybody is very well versed in the show and the entire, 9-season history of Vanderpump Rules. But I was shocked. So many of you don't watch it, which makes me sad for you. And I was texting with Kathy this morning and I was like, oh, like the Vanderpump drama crazy. She's like, I don't know who any of these people are, but it's all over my Instagram. And now I'm kind of curious. And I was like, I'm so jealous for people who have never watched it because this is your opportunity to go back to the very beginning, season 1, episode 1, and start the whole series with like never having seen it before. You will be the most entertained person in the world. It's the best show. It's like, it was just such a gem of a show because it wasn't curated at all. They literally went into this restaurant that was owned by Lisa Vanderpump and interviewed people that work at the restaurant, figured out who was friends, who was dating who, and just started recording and made a show out of it. So it's not this like, when they start a Housewives franchise, like a couple of them might know each other, they run in the same circles, but they kind of fabricate the relationship amongst the group and like, let's go on a trip. And, this is actually like these people's lives and they were already friends and dating and a group before they started filming. And also they were nobody. They had no money. They were just living in these like shitty apartments in West Hollywood, trying to be like actors and working, bartending. And it was just their real lives. Now, obviously, since the first season, a lot of them have careers and stuff outside of the show, but you have to see the progression. Like, it's so interesting. So much drama, so much like, it's just wild. So anyways, what happened recently is one of the OG guys on the show, Tom Sandoval, in the early seasons, he was dating Kristen. Kristen cheated on him. And then there was rumors, although they say they started dating after Kristen and Tom had already broken up, that Tom was cheating on Kristen with Ariana. And so Kristen and Tom broke up. And then since then, this was like season 1 or 2, I think. Since then, Tom and Ariana have been like ride or die, like the couple. There was no like drama between them. They just seemed very like happy and together. So on Friday, this past Friday, I'm like, I open up Instagram and I see this post from James Kennedy and it was like a screenshot from a TMZ article that was like Tom Sandoval, Raquel Leviss, who is a new character to the show in the last couple years because she started dating a guy that was on the show, James Kennedy. They were engaged last season And at the reunion, it ended up that they broke off their engagement. So now she is a character on the show, or like a cast member, and works out of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant. And the funny thing about Raquel is that she was a fan of the show before she started dating James Kennedy, which is interesting. And she's like a little mouse. Like, she's not dramatic. She's not a partier. She's very like shy and withdrawn. Anyways, that post from TMZ was that Tom Sandoval and her had been having an affair for like 7 months, and Ariana left Tom. Wild. Like, the whole Bravo universe has just been shook. Like, it's wild. I still can't wrap my brain around it. But anyways, he had initially put out a statement that was like, please, like, don't take this out on the restaurants, because obviously people are like, you're a scumbag loser. And he put out this big statement because now people are writing negative comments about his restaurants. You'll remember I was just in LA November and we went to Schwartz and Sandy's. That was his new restaurant that he opened up with Tom Schwartz. They also have a restaurant, Tom Tom, which they opened up with Lisa Vanderpump. Anyways, it's the whole thing. He was like, don't take this out on the restaurants. Like, lots of people's livelihoods rely on the restaurants doing well. And, you know, you're not just hurting me, you're hurting like all these people who are trying to make a living, and so on and so forth. And everybody was kind of like, that's what you're worried about right now? Like, no apology to Ariana, no like acknowledgement of what he did or how crazy this all is. It was just like, please don't come for my restaurants. And so I guess he caught wind that everybody had those thoughts, because just today I saw he posted a big apology thing to Ariana. But anyways, it's just so wild. And there is a big age difference between Raquel and Tom Sandoval. Not that I think that matters, but it is interesting to note that she was a fan before even getting involved in this group. So does that play a part in all of this? She's like, ooh, Sandoval is like an OG. He, you know, is co-owner of Tom Tom and Schwartz and Sandy's. And it's a way for her to be relevant amongst the cast members, because once her engagement ended with James Kennedy, like, was she worried that she would eventually just like die off on the show? It's so bizarre. So bizarre. Anyways, everybody's saying like, oh, they're saying that they're in love and they're going to stay together, and it's wild. And then part of me is like, apparently Ariana and Tom were really rocky for a long time. So was this just a way to, because the ratings of the show had gone down quite a bit, was this a way to like gain more attention? Were they all like I wouldn't put it past them to be like, Ariana and Tom want to break up. Like, Tom and Raquel are interested in each other. Like, how can we really make this a huge thing that will like breathe new air into the show, which it has done big time. It's almost like the show is restarting over. Like, what is going to happen? And it's wild because apparently once TMZ broke that story, production started up again. So they've been filming since that came out, which is so wild to think. Like, you have this massive, assuming it's not planned, which it's probably not. I'm just like, you know, thinking my own thoughts. But this huge life event happens. It's super embarrassing. Like, you've been cheated on. Your partner has been having an affair with they were also like really good friends, Ariana and Raquel, by the way, which is also wild. And all of a sudden cameras are in your face because they want to capture like everything that's going to go down now. That's wild to think about. And the most incredible part of all of this is that in 2 weeks' time is when they record the reunion. This is like the Super Bowl of reality TV. Like when that reunion is on, nobody talk to me. I'm turning off my phone. I am glued to the television. It's going to be insanity. I hope it's like a 3-hour special. Anyways, okay. Moving on. I hope my battery doesn't die on my recorder. So yes, yesterday I turned 38, which is wild. Should I start planning a 40th birthday party? What do people do for their 40th birthday parties? I don't just want to have a party. I want to go somewhere. I like traveling and experiencing things. So I got to talk to my husband because his birthday is 2 weeks after mine. So he's always like, oh, how does it feel to be the older woman for 2 weeks while I'm a year older than him, which is really just 2 weeks, but you know what I mean? How does it feel to be the older woman for 2 weeks out of the year? It's like, oh my God, be quiet. So he will turn 40 2 weeks after me. So we should plan some like big thing for our 40th birthdays. Maybe we'll go to one of those sought after places. What's it called? Bora Bora or Fiji, you know? I've never really considered going to one of those places because it takes so long to get there. But maybe we can do it for our 40th birthdays. I better start saving now. Make a bank account. 40th birthday funds. So yeah, sugar bugs. Let's talk about sugar bugs. My initial thought about sugar bugs, and I'll tell you how they came about, was like, ooh, I don't know if I like this. So what happened was I brought Milo to the dentist, and when they were looking in his teeth, like they were just making funny comments about like, oh, you know, you got to clean off the sugar bugs. Like we got to look to see if there's any sugar bugs in there. And I was like, oh my God, Milo's legit gonna think that there's bugs in his mouth. This is creepy. But it never turned into a creepy thing. He actually really grasped onto that idea that there's little sugar bugs on his teeth and that he has to get them out. So the whole thing now is when it's time for him to brush his teeth, he'll be like, Mom, look in my mouth. Tell me when I get one. And he'll be like scrubbing. Tell me when I get one, Mom. And so I'm like, oh, you got one. Oh, I see them. Oh, they're trying to get away. Like, and then he'll be like, here, Mom, you brush and tell me every time you get one. And I'm like, is this okay? Is this like, am I damaging his mental well-being by pretending there's sugar bugs in his mouth? But I mean, I guess it's something he'll just grow out of and eventually it's not going to be a thing. But for right now, I'm like, oh yeah, sugar bugs, because it works so well. And he's not even freaked out by it. He's just like, are they running? Are they trying to get away? I'm like, yes, they're trying to get away. We better get them. So yeah, I wanted to tell you guys that because if anybody else wants to use the whole sugar bug thing, by all means. If it damages your child, then don't come at me. Don't sue me. This is not... Consult your healthcare practitioners is what I'll say to save myself. Anyways, we obviously went on a lovely family trip not too long ago, and we recently booked another family trip for June because my husband's cousin lives in Switzerland, and they've always wanted us. Well, not always. They just moved there a few years ago, but they always want us to go visit. And I, just by the sounds of it, they live in Lucerne, which is a smaller city on the water. Like it's really, really, it looks picturesque. When they talk about it, they're like, yeah, over like in the winter, they have horse carriage rides. You can like ride a horse and then they take you to the park and you do like fondue. And I'm like, what is this? A fairy tale? So we finally booked a trip to go in June for 8 days. Some of my husband's family from South Africa, which is where he's from, will also be visiting Switzerland at the same time, as well as my husband's parents. So it'll be like a big family fun trip. And I found a really beautiful hotel for us to stay at. It's like on the water. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And one sec. My whole thing was like, I want to fly as comfortable as possible because the flights are in the evening. So we would leave Toronto at like 8 p.m. I can't sleep on planes. And then we're also going to be jet lagged on the other side. So I was like, please, like, is there any way we can fly business, which is wildly expensive if you go, because we were looking to fly with Air Canada. And for the three of us to fly business so that you can like lay down overnight to sleep, my husband could sleep anywhere. My husband could sleep like on the floor right here while I'm podcasting. No problem. Milo could probably sleep anywhere as well. But the thing is, if we were in like economy seats, Milo would be laying across us. I'd be all uncomfortable. The plane is pitch black. Everybody else is sleeping. And I'm like sitting there trying not to move or wake up Milo. Probably have to pee every 2 seconds. You know what I mean? I just hate, like, that's like my nightmare. And my husband would be sound asleep no matter what. So I was like, is there any way we can fly business? Like, I'll start saving now. And we looked at Air Canada, and for three of us to fly business direct from Toronto to Zurich, which is the closest airport to Lucerne, was like $20-some thousand. I was like, are you kidding me right now? So then my husband was looking, I was thinking like, okay, we're not flying business or like in the seats where you can lay down. And my husband found a flight that is with a different airline. It's like a German airline to go direct from Toronto to Germany, which is the bulk of the flight. It's like 8 hours or something. And then from Germany, you just have a 45-minute flight to Zurich. So we chose to do that. So at least we can sleep and be super comfortable for the long stretch of the flight. And then we just have like a short flight after that. So that was like still wildly expensive. It was crazy because this was like $10,000 for business, which I know you guys are probably like, you guys are psychotic. And I agree, but it's that or I don't travel because I would be a miserable human on that flight. Anyways, and also I'm terrified of Milo being super jet lagged and not able to sleep, and it's a whole thing. I'm very high maintenance traveler. I don't know if you guys know this about me yet, but I'm extremely high maintenance. Like I will plan ahead to have the best possible travel experience for everything. Like hotels, I'm so like I want to be comfortable at all times. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, even just premium economy for the Air Canada direct flight was like over 3,000 each. So it would have come up to like the same amount as us doing the other route or other airline in business. And premium economy is just, you have a little bit more leg room. So that was wild. The price differences. Like, thank God for my husband who found this other flight option. Okay, so lastly, I will fill you guys in on what has been going on with Muffin. It is much worse than we thought. So a while back, probably like a year ago, every once in a while, Muffin would have these like hacking fits, and we just assumed he had a tickle in his throat, or because him and Bubbles shed a lot, they're Pomeranians, like he's got hair in his throat, because that's what it sounded like, was like when a cat has a hairball. So we never really thought anything of it. We mentioned it to the vet. It wasn't like a big deal. But then it slowly over time has just gotten more and more, like it happens more often and it sounds worse. So over the last like 2-3 weeks, it's been pretty bad. And we brought him to the vet, and the vet like touched his trachea here, and Muffin just started doing that noise like over and over. And so the vet was like, he definitely has the collapsing trachea issue, which is very common in Pomeranians. And so I started to research that, and there were medications that you can take that kind of like lessen the irritation of the throat and acts as a cough suppressant. Basically, he also mentioned there was a medication that has anesthetic in it that can numb the throat, so he doesn't feel like there's all that irritation that he has to keep hacking. So we were like, okay, trying some of the medication, but to be honest, like it would help a little bit. And it was also hard to tell if it was the medication helping or if it was because we gave him his medicine with his dinner, and then he has a little bit of dinner, and then it's nighttime. So he's settled and like sleeping on the couch, and he's not all riled up. So even with that medication, I was like, I don't see this being something that will help him for a long time, because even with the medication, I'm not comfortable with him living like this. Like, he's also got cataracts in both eyes, so he can barely see. I notice now, like if I call his name or I'm trying to give him food, like he's not, like he doesn't know where people are. I can say like Muffin, and he'll like look in the direction, but he's not looking at me like he used to. He has diabetes, which he's had since I was pregnant with Milo, which is really hard to manage in dogs. And it's, you know, it wreaks havoc on their mouth, like his teeth, even though we've gotten them professionally cleaned not too long ago. His teeth are just like not good. Anyways, and then the vet, he's got really bad arthritis in his knees. And the vet checked to listen to his heart and his lungs, and he was suspicious that there was something going on one side of his chest, but he wasn't sure if it was like fluid or in his lungs or what was going on. So I went to the vet on last Friday. I brought him in, and they were like, we would like him to come back on Monday to do a bunch of tests like x-rays and blood work and urine and all that stuff. So I booked that appointment, and then Saturday night, my husband came into my room at 1 a.m. and was like, I have to take Muffin to the emergency vet. Like he's hacking nonstop, and he's not able to sleep, and he was worried about him. So he brought him to the hospital that's open 24/7 for animals. And they basically confirmed that he had the trachea thing going on and gave him a cough suppressant. So that was a little bit better. And then, of course, I had my public speaking thing on Sunday. And after my husband brought Muffin to the vet Saturday night, like I didn't sleep all night. I was just crying in my bed because I just had a feeling like the moment my husband was like, I have to take Muffin to the emergency vet, in my mind, I was like, something is wrong. Like, this is not normal. And I just knew, like, I was worried that night that I would never see Muffin again. Like, I assumed my husband was going to take him to the emergency vet and they were going to say that they had to put him down. And so that's what I was preparing myself for to happen. Then I had a raging sore stomach the next morning. Like, it was freaking nuts. I hadn't slept all night, and I just showered, got ready, and went and did my thing. And I'm happy that I did, because like it made me feel a lot better, and I would have been really upset if I missed it. But anyways, obviously they didn't have to put him down on Saturday night, but on Monday I brought him back to the vet to get all those tests, the x-rays. I gave them a urine sample. They took blood. And then my husband went and picked him up because I had to drop him off, come back home. And then my husband picked him up after work on Monday, and the vet knows that my husband's a physician. So he was showing him the x-rays because there was a big mass in Muffin's chest. And the vet was like, we have to send it to radiology to confirm whether it's cancerous or not or whatever. But my husband knew because he looks at x-rays all day. He knew. And when he came back home, I was finishing up work stuff in my office and I didn't even clue in. And my husband came over to me and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing work. Like, what? And then he like broke down and started telling me what he saw on the x-ray. So we knew that wasn't good, and we were still waiting for the radiologist to confirm everything, but we kind of knew already. There was also some other things that the vet found that made him suspect that he had other things going on. There was like fluid around his heart and all kinds of stuff. So the next day was my birthday, and I had booked to go to the spa with Kathy, and I was like, I'm going to do that. Like, I need to do that so much. Just not even look at my phone, be outside. And so we did that. And then while we were checking into the spa, literally I like gave the woman my credit card and like we were getting things sorted. My phone rings and it was the vet. And we weren't expecting to get the radiology stuff for like 2 or 3 days, but the vet like talked to me for probably 5-10 minutes and just explained everything that they found and that it was like a really cancerous tumor in his chest. And he was like, I can put you in touch with the specialists that do cancers for animals, but at the end of the day, you should also consider his quality of life, and that regardless of what you guys choose to do, like the outcome is going to be the same. So that's really difficult because then my husband and I had to have a conversation and decide what we were going to do. And it's just really weird to live in a house with a dog that you've lived with for so long and like to just know that these are your last days with him. It's really weird. And so my in-laws are coming on Saturday and they're staying for March break. And I was like, my husband was like, maybe we should do it on Sunday because they'll be here, so we can like take our time to go. Anyways, and so I've been taking little videos of him and I want to make like a video of his life, and I think we'll take him to McDonald's before we go to the vet so that he can eat something really delicious since he's been on his stupid diabetes diet for so long. And he had a little piece of my birthday cake yesterday. And so anyways, that's what's going on. And not only are we obviously super emotional and stressed about that, but it's also the trying to explain it to Milo. And I know Tanya, my friend, Dr. Kotler, she's going to give me some resources for how to talk to Milo about it. And I ordered some books, which I'll share with you guys, from Amazon. And yeah, so that's just what's been going on. And it's really weird. It's like really strange. And I told my husband, like, I don't even know if I can go to the vet to like have to put him down. And my husband said that he would go by himself, but like then I feel bad if I don't go. Anyways, Okay, I'm gonna end this here because obviously I'm emotional. I'm gonna go get Muffin and sit on the couch and watch Vanderpump stuff. Speak of the devil, Tanya just texted me with resources. So, anywho, that's that. Sorry for being a sad podcast. I hope you're not crying. All right. Thanks so much for listening. And hopefully next week we're a little more uplifting, but maybe not. So sorry about that. Bye.